All right, folks, it's Wednesday, August 16th here for our follow-up. For the folks who are not VIP members, we had our show, 9 a.m. show yesterday morning, 9 a.m. show pre-market prep this morning. Since yesterday, we're signaling the alarm bells for the major indices because of what's going on with China and banks. Okay, really weak economic condition in China. That you can represent that, but what's going on with KWEB? As I said yesterday, maybe there's another better ETF out there. This is one I know. I don't follow China closely. KWEB's my only China ETF I follow. So KWEB's been very weak. I think that's been dragging on the market. Then you have regional banks pretty weak, as all banks really, with Fitch threatening to maybe downgrade even the bigger banks. So that's been a drag on the markets. Now, we are now below key levels on SPY and ARKK. Unfortunately for ARKK, I really thought ARKK would hold. Right now, the final level of support I had was 41.51. We're at 41.44. But let's talk about SPY first. SPY is below the 50 DMA. You can see that. Now we're clearly below the 50 DMA. I guess there's FOMC minutes that come out at 2 p.m. I don't know. I never put much weight into the minutes. We'll see. I just don't think they represent anything too significant, but we'll see if that can save this and see if SPY can close above the 50 DMA. But for right now, I'm bearish. I think this 50 DMA breach can lead to a move towards the 20-week moving average on SPY, which kind of coincides with this candle support at 431.73. You see that? Previous resistance now becomes support. That'll be a perfect level for a pullback. So that makes a lot of sense to me now. With this 50 DMA breach, I think I'm looking for 432 now on SPY. Unless something significant happens to change that between now and the end of the day, FOMC minutes maybe, but I doubt it. So 432 I'm looking for on SPY. I will get back to ARKK at the end. Okay, QQQ below the 50 DMA. It already breached the 50 DMA yesterday, last few days. It's been dancing below the 50 DMA. But I'm taking my signal more from SPY here. That's just a much more clear, that's a very clear signal on SPY. And if SPY goes down, I guess QQQ can also make its way over towards that 20-week moving average. Then we go to ARKK. I really thought the 20-week moving average in ARKK would hold. That 20-week moving average didn't hold. We had a final candle support at 41.51 right there from June 23rd. 41.51 does not appear to be holding as of right now, and that means what's next? The 200 DMA at 39.50. We also have the 50-week moving average, which is always very similar to the 200 DMA. That's around 39.50, called 39.50. So 41.50 and then 39.50. 41.51 and then 39.51 are the two levels of support now for ARK. That's a potential drop of another 5% in ARK, which can be really, really painful if you're in some risk assets. And, we'll talk about Overstock in a second. Other risk assets like Apron doing awesome. We just increased our Apron position. We'll talk to you about that in a second. All right, so that's the overview. Now, we've been hedging a little bit. Should have been hedging a lot more, but we're short KRE. We're short SPY through a triple leveraged ETF SPXU. We're short IWM. We're long FAS. Okay, FAS is, we'll see what happens. Looks like it's hopefully going to turn green for us here in a bit. So we're hedging, and my size probably was not enough hedging. Probably got a little too cocky yesterday because the markets were down and all our stock picking was just amazing. Like we had four of our top 5 picks were up over 10% yesterday, like crazy. So we're like, all right, we felt invincible. We don't need to hedge much. We're just killing it with VTSI and Quick and LLAP and Apron. I mean, we had a great day yesterday. Our count was up when the market was down. And maybe that led us to be a little complacent and not hedge against the market enough. Now let's move on over to our watch list. Overstock we've been holding for a long time. We haven't talked about it for a long time because it didn't really have any catalysts, any reason for this to break up to the upside, but we've been holding it and we're paying for it. I did not. It's moving in the same general direction as ARKK, and that has a lot to do with it. But I thought the individual catalysts on Overstock would make this hold. But now we're at this gap level support, which is at 27.30 was the lowest price. 27.31. 27.31 was the lowest price after the Bed Bath & Beyond news. Okay, after it was announced that they're acquiring Bed Bath & Beyond. 27.31. If 27.31 fails, then you have the top of this candle, 26.44, the day before the Bed Bath & Beyond news. And okay, I'm sorry. This is just one of those picks where I guess I'm leaning on the fundamentals more than the technicals, and maybe I'm wrong to do this, but that was just a phenomenal acquisition, which I think should increase the valuation of Overstock by a significant amount. I thought this was warranted. I really did. I thought this move to 39 was warranted. I think a move to 45 would be warranted if you just do the math in terms of even if they get like 10% of the former online business of Bed Bath & Beyond. I mean, this thing could easily be worth over $45. And we've been following the app rankings, and the app rankings warrant this. It's an early sign that their sales are exploding. Of course, in the early days, it's not going to be exploding profitably. And maybe Maybe some shorts are worried about that because they're doing 25% coupons on the Bed Bath & Beyond site right now, the app. But it's not for everything, only specific categories. So, but in any case, I was really surprised at this, and I'm not going to be shaken out. I'm not going to be shaken out. If ARKK moves down another 5%, yeah, our overstock can go down another easily to this gap fill. It might even break this gap fill. That could all happen. But sorry for you guys not making money on this now. We're okay with it. I'm willing to hold through the pain on overstock. The deal with Bed Bath & Beyond was just too good. So that's why I'm hedging. I want to keep my long. So I'm keeping my long, and we're shorting SPY, IWM, regional banks, long FAS, which is shorting the big banks. And that's how we're playing it. All right, so we had to discuss that little bit of pain. VTSI, quick, LAP, all exploded for us yesterday. We've essentially, we've kept our entire position in all of these, and I'm comfortable doing that. I think these were inflection point catalysts in all three of these, especially quick and LAP. VTSI, I think, to a little bit of a lesser extent, because I think VTSI already inflected. It's just a kind of a continuation of their inflection. So VTSI, quick, LAP, I will be holding through this storm. And I really do think, despite this big market pullback, we're going to be seeing quick at 950 probably within days. Okay. We'll see what happens with that. LAP waiting for, and also VTSI. I'm not as convicted that it's going to do it within days. I thought this morning it was. We had this as a number one pick because I thought we're gapping above the 50 DMA. Didn't work out at 9:30 a.m. But I'm looking for this to break that 50 DMA and move towards 850. Perhaps not as imminently as quick. I just think the quick earnings was fabulous and deserves a major rapid re-rating. Okay, so holding on to that, and I think folks will be pleasantly surprised to see this flip green sometime, sharply green sometime in the next few days. And I wouldn't even be surprised if it happens this afternoon on quick. Okay. LAP, hold it. We called this reversal perfectly yesterday at 11 a.m., 11:15 a.m. We piled on, made this maybe our largest position because a major inflection point catalyst at 11:15 a.m. All right, we're still up on this. Didn't take any profits, and I am anticipating, and I may be wrong, but I'm anticipating a break of the 20 and the 50 DMAs. And the playground I want to play in is 150 to 180. It's again very hard against this tape to make that happen. Very hard to predict that. I think people are going to think I'm crazy, and that's fine. And I might be crazy, and that's why we're hedging. But if the markets keep going down, we're net long by a big margin. So if markets keep going down, the hedge will help us, but we're not going to be in a good shape. So it'll just help us. But once things settle down, I think 150 to 180 is the playground you're playing with. We went through the details of why yesterday on this show and also in our VIP shows. By the way, for VIPs, we have, if you hop on over to StoryTrading.com/app, not only do you get the 9 a.m. show, but also today at 4 p.m., I'm going to try to be there, okay? It's tough to do it when markets are like this, but every Wednesday at 4 p.m., we're going to be on Zoom, okay? And only a few people show up. It's a nice, intimate crowd, and we can talk about whatever you want. A completely open book. We can research any stock you want together. So we're going to do that at 4 p.m. today. We're going to do our Zoom. And so I'm still bullish on all of these. Okay. Quick, LAP. YTRA, we're waiting for. Honestly, I'd like a much larger position. Have the cash to do it. I'm waiting for LAP to make a move towards 150 so I can rotate some of that into more YTRA. YTRA IPO catalyst, we believe, is coming. Looking for a repricing of this to close to $4 when that's announced. Okay, so that's YTRA. Still keeping our position. Kamada, we gave it to you this morning as a top pick. It was our 6th pick, only because I'm not too familiar with it, but it had a nice beat and raise. Nice beat and raise, which is very clean. I checked the valuation, very low valuation. I don't know exactly what they do, but based only on the top and bottom line beat, the raise, and the valuation, we gave a buy signal at this with a price target of 550 to 6. So that's working out. We actually sold it a little above 550 because markets returned. I was planning on holding it till the end of the day, see if we get more towards 6. But because of market conditions, we wanted to raise some cash and took a quick profit on KMDA. I'm going to come back to Apron in just one second because we did just significantly increased our position. We'll tell you why in a second. But I realized I forgot to cover this morning. This morning, we had told you about Target, that we thought that was a short, and it was a short out of the gate. Okay, and we did cover this short too. Made a little bit of money on that because it wasn't huge size, but we shorted this in pre-market and covered it a few dollars lower. And I did make the point this morning that Target, I was very surprised, and I said this in our app early in the morning, that I was very surprised Target was up because they made their guidance much lower for the year, and it was up on just what it did in the recent quarter. And I noted how that's very odd. And I'd mentioned TJ Maxx, TJX was the opposite. They raised guidance, right? So TJX looked warranted, whereas Target didn't. Now I didn't go long TJX because they only raised their guidance by like 3%. So you see it's up 4% now. So I didn't see a huge opportunity in pre-market. But imagine if you went long TJX and shorted Target. It's the guidance that matters, folks. And this one, I can't believe the market mispriced this in the pre-market. It's so obvious. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe how they mispriced that in the morning and went by the recent quarter and not the guidance. So interesting that happened over there on Target. Okay. All right. Let's get back to our list on the morning show list here. And Apron, we just had a VIP show. We discussed Apron. The details of this record, it's available for our VIPs. So if you're a VIP, you pull up Apron, you should see it pull up in the app. Let me just see if I tagged Apron for that show that we just did with Chris Tuttle. It is, okay. So you can go listen to that. And based on that discussion, you'll see why we increased our position here. Even with the market being really red and even with the stock being up significantly, we decided to increase our position in Apron during the show we just did with Chris Tuttle at IPO Candy. So this one's looking really good. All I'll say is it's a very high short position. They have cash and no debt, 28% short, cash, no debt, things going in the right direction. And we have a much higher price target. So, all right. So we're trying to hold what we like while raising cash on, where we can and shorting the market where we can. Okay. It doesn't look pretty here. It really doesn't. I'm really sad to say this. It's hard for me to admit it because I really thought ARKK would hold the 20-week moving average. I really did. And I didn't expect Overstock to go here. So with ARKK below the 20-week moving average, SPY, I'm not surprised at. That's an easier one to understand. It needed a big pullback. I mean, ARK already had a big pullback. So SPY needed a big pullback. And this, to me, there's a lot more meat on the bone, in my opinion, with SPY than on ARK. So 441 to 432, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so bearish markets. Let's see if we can do this, man. It's tough. It's tough to, you want to be in the stocks you like, and it's hard to get enough hedge to keep your account in a good spot. But maybe we just got to hedge a little bit more because that signal on SPY is so clear to me. Okay, let me see if there's any questions over at Rumble. I don't see anything. Any questions? Now's the time. You can put it in the comments section over on YouTube, and we'll take a look at that. Well, I'll give you guys 1 minute to think about that. I'm just going to go down through the list and see if there's anything else of note I want to let you know about. SMSI down. Okay, cool. We're not in this because it hit our target. It hit our target exactly at the 200 DMA, and we're waiting for a pullback. So this is something that may garner our attention. RSI is at 61. I told you I was actually looking for an RSI of at least 60 to step back in. So maybe it's a time to start tiptoeing back in. You have a support here when it dumped the other morning at 142. So something I'll be looking at, okay? I don't know if we have room for this right now. We might be fully allocated. I have to check. But might be something to start tiptoeing back into SMSI. On the other hand, it could make it all the way back to about 130, that 20-week. 150, I think could make sense to start re-entering SMSI. Wow, interesting to see that. Wow, very interesting. Okay. All right, that's all I got here. Did I talk about Overstock? I did. I talked about Overstock, and we're just, man, that pain. That is painful, and this is ugly. Unbelievable. Wow. Gap fill, you got to say there's a chance it moves all the way to 200 DMA. I just can't. This is sometimes the drawback of looking at fundamentals too much. Sometimes you just got to respect the technicals a little bit more, but it is what it is. And when it goes in the right direction, you're also going to make a ton more money than the technical traders. So we're going to hold out for that and see if our thesis plays out on Overstock. All right, I guess that's it. I don't see any questions coming in. So storytrading.com/app, you can join, and I'll be on Zoom at 4 p.m. and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And you'll get a pre-market show every morning at 9 a.m. Plus our cool app that we're building with data feeds and news feeds and watch lists and real-time quotes. You should check it out. All right, I'll see you guys at 4 p.m. if you're a VIP. Have a good afternoon.